Welcome to What's on Your Napkin, Season 2. Welcome to What's on Your Napkin. My name is Jared Yellen, founder of Project 10K. We have a wonderful guest with us in the studio today from Boston. Sergey, how are you, my friend?
Hi.
Thank you for being here. So, I know that you have decades of experience in tech, from investing to launching. Give a little bit of your background, though, so that the audience here knows who you are, because we have either 2 or 3 entrepreneurs coming on tonight to share their vision with us, and you're going to help judge their ideas. So give a little bit of background on who you are.
Sounds good. So, my first background is actually technical. I lived for many years in Israel. Originally did computer science, programming, system administration, operations, cyber, whatever. All my life worked at startups. At some point, kind of switched to the dark side, you can say. Went to MIT, did business degree, started to invest as angel investment. And last 6+ years, I'm partner with Flint Capital. Awesome. We are an early stage international VC, doing primarily seed and A rounds, I would say in Israel, Europe, and US.
Very cool.
Geography-wise.
So what do you look for with early stage? Like what is the most important thing? Is it the founder? Is it their idea? Is it their team? Is it their attraction? Is it all the above? Like what are you looking for when you guys make investments?
So it's all the above, but certainly team is the most important thing at that point in time, because obviously you look at the idea and you want to make sure the idea is good, solid, and the potential is great. But what you know is whatever the original idea, there is a chance we will need to pivot. Basically, it's all about team. So you need to check all the boxes, but the team is the most important.
For sure. Yeah, we say the same thing all the time. There's actually 4 criteria that we look for, because these are napkins. This is the earliest of early stage. There's not even companies usually set up. And I know that you know that, but realize everything starts on a napkin, right? Every company that exists today at one point was on a piece of paper. Because you can't bypass that step. Like you have to have that early step of, I have an idea, I'm going to execute on it. There's 4 major things we look for, which is the right person, with the right idea, in the right market, and the right business model. And when those 4 things are present, what we're going to say is, yes, we want to move forward in due diligence, but we need our audience to support us, right? So as somebody that's watching us tonight, what we need you to do is chime in the comments below. If you see an entrepreneur pitching an idea and you absolutely love it, influence us, right? We want them to influence us. We want you to say, we love that idea for these reasons. We might not even think of those reasons. And we also want you to let us know if there's ideas you stand against, politely, of course, because this is people's dreams. But let us know if you stand against it and why do you stand against it? Because you might just help us see what we don't see within this entrepreneur's idea. So with that, let's invite our first entrepreneur to share their vision on What's on Your Napkin. Please join us.
Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. Now, Jared, how can I say that both of you and everybody watching is good-looking? Because if you're involved with 10X Incubator, it means you're always looking for and finding the good. That's a good-looking person, looking for and finding the good. My name is Barry Shore. Barry Shore. I'm known as the Ambassador of Joy, and I'm calling in from Henderson, Nevada. And if you don't know where Henderson is, you're missing out on a lot. It's
I do know where Henderson is. I've been there before. So thank you for being with us, Barry.
You're welcome, Jared.
Please share what's on your napkin. Take it away, Barry. Share your big idea. You have 5 minutes. Please share your idea.
Okay, you want me to do it from the deck or just verbally?
From the deck, you can open your deck, please.
Okay, so I'm sharing screen. Okay, are you ready, kids?
Yep, it's worthy. Go for it.
Big buckle up, here we go. So the name of the program, it's an app that is already functional on both Apple and Android, is called It's Worthy, because it is. Watch what we're going to do in the world to enable people to give and earn $1 billion without costing the user a penny. merely by swiping your credit card. So what's the problem and the inefficiency? So there are lots of companies that enable people to earn money when you use a credit card. There are companies which actually enable people to give money when you use a credit card. But there is currently no company that enables people to give and earn at the same time merely with the swipe of their credit card at the merchant of choice. So what's the solution? Solution is It's Worthy. We use card link technology, and I presume that you're familiar with that. If you're not, I'll explain it later. It brings together three intersecting groups. Think of a Venn diagram, and in the middle is It's Worthy. People, users, causes, let's say helping Ukrainians, and merchants, local merchants, online merchants, etc. So users love doing this because they earn money and give at the same time. It doesn't cost them anything. Causes love this because their need is ongoing passive income. Merchants, especially local merchants, always are looking for more efficient, more cost-effective ways to attract and keep customers. So It's Worthy solves the problem for each group. It's Worthy is frictionless, it's simple, and it works because we've proven it. So why am I the right person? Because quite simply, no one cares as much about finding the solution to engaging millions of people in the process of giving without cost. I care about causes, and I've worked in the cause-related marketing field for 28 years. My story as a successful serial entrepreneur and survivor of full body paralysis pushed me to succeed. And quite simply, It's Worthy works. We've tested it. So what's the economic model? It's actually quite wonderful. It's elegant. It's simple. Giving is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. So imagine making money every time someone willingly swipes their credit card at a merchant. Now let's assume that the merchant allocates some X, let's call it 10% just because of easy numbers. At 10% that's allocated by the merchant, the user earns 3%. So you went out to a restaurant, you spent, use a number, $100, you just earned $3. The cause that you selected prior also earned $3, didn't cost you a penny. It's Worthy earns 4% to run the company. Everyone benefits. It's called arbitrage for good. So what's the go-to-market strategy? Capturing the constituents. So in this case, again, think of Venn diagram. There are three active constituents. Causes, things that people want to care about, want to give money to. So in this case, the genius is that the causes promote the It's Worthy program to their supporters and receive ongoing passive income. Merchants love it because they offer their goods and services at some X discount to be included in the program. And especially local merchants who are associated with a cause, like a local pet shelter and things like that, love being associated because they gain what's called the halo effect. Look at us, we're helping. And it brings them customer retention, which is very difficult to achieve in today's fast-paced world. And users, people, love this because you're giving money and it doesn't cost you a penny. So you feel good. People love feeling good, especially if it doesn't cost them anything. So why are you, I don't know about the perfect partner, but why are you a partner for us? We are seeking three things. Merchant connections, and I don't know what your ability is in this area. A team. Now, everybody knows, or you think you know what team stands for. In my case, team stands for together, everyone achieves miracles. Not just more, together, everyone achieves miracles. And the third thing is money. Money makes everything work that much better. So in that order, though, connections, team, and money. This is an opportunity to make money Make a difference. I call going mad, making a difference. Plus, we can have fun doing it. Imagine building a multi-billion-dollar company, having fun and making a difference and making money. What a pleasure. Okay, you want to be surprised? Here we go, kids. I'm sure you can read it, but I'll read it for you. Imagine standing up in the morning, hale and hearty, able to leap tall buildings, and that night being in the hospital, totally, completely paralyzed. That's me. You're looking at me. It was not from an auto accident, not a spinal injury, a rare disease, which I never heard of the day before, rendered me a quadriplegic. Do either of you know what a quadriplegic is?
Yes.
From the neck down, totally, completely paralyzed. I was like that for years. Today, I'm able to swim 2 miles a day, 6 days a week, and my goal is to swim around the world. I'm already 1/3 of the way there. I am positive, purposeful, powerful, and pleasant. And I get big stuff done. I've done it before. Visit my website, www, which stands for, of course, whatawonderfulworld.barryshore.com, and you'll find out more about the story, what I do, what I've done, and what we're capable of doing. So thank you for the opportunity, and I'm open to your questions.
Awesome. Great job.
First of all, I'm waiting. I didn't hear applause. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations on your health. That's the most important thing. You can stop sharing your screen now. So a question. I see the win for the user. I see the win for the cause. I see a win for the platform. But how are you able to get merchants to be okay with giving up 10% of their transaction?
Okay, as I've mentioned to you before or during this process, we have tested this. So this is the third iteration. I'll tell you why it's the third. I've tested it in 2 cities. We've tested it with hundreds of merchants, and I use 10% as a benchmark, but we work with anywhere from 5% to as much as 20%, by the way. Imagine that. There are some merchants that give us 20%. Simple example, bowling alleys. Hello, high level of margin. 5% on the low end, grocery stores. So on the 5%, 1.5 goes to the user, 1.5 goes to the cause, and 2 to us. And sometimes we do have to do it the other way: 2% to the user, 2% to the cause, and 1%. But when
what about the merchant processing company? Are they also taking their 2.9%? So it's 5% plus the merchant fees?
So this is beautiful. Thank you for asking. Just want to put everything in perspective. Forget Stripe, forget anything else. What happens with the merchant is that they are already using credit cards. So that's off the table. This is their process. What they're doing is they're allocating X%, and what we show them is, in lieu of oftentimes more advertising. You do realize what it costs merchants to advertise, to try and bring in people? The purpose of advertising is to attract, am I correct?
Yes.
To get somebody through the door. The genius of what we do is to maintain retention and bring loyalty, because now the merchant stands for something. I help causes. I am here for your benefit. We now have a relationship. That's very valuable to any thinking merchant.
So how many merchants are on the platform right now?
So we're in, again, third iteration. We're doing a test market in Orange County, in a very narrow place in Orange County, California, and we have approximately 38 merchants and 3 causes, and we're transacting every day.
So what kind of transactions are happening? So like, how much money has the platform made? Like how many, whether it's 1% or 4%? Because I know it's nominal, but like what kind of revenue is generating at this point?
Well, at the moment, remember, this is all test market. This is not, we haven't rolled out nationally. We're just doing testing. So the numbers are beside the point. It's the process. Do causes promote to their people? The answer is yes. Do merchants sign up? The answer is yes. Do people use it? The answer is yes. So the numbers, it doesn't matter. The numbers are small. It's the process. Does this work?
So question on causes and merchant. It sounds like something which is kind of hyper local, because for for the merchant to give out fairly significant portion of his margin, like if we're talking about grocery store, their margins are razor thin, so 5% is maybe like half of their margin easily. It probably should work for like very local charities, but have you tried like more global causes, or for now it looks like it's kind of super local merchants, local causes, things like that?
Very good. So first of all, great question, and you got the gig. But I want to show you where the layers are. So the simple answer is absolutely correct, spot on, good for you. And by the way, hyper local, you used hyper, I just call it local. People love that. Local merchants, because of the past couple of years, have been really hit hard. And people want to support local merchants. And guess what? People do shop locally. They think globally, but they shop locally. So the simple answer is yes, it works very nicely in a what you call hyper-local situation. But because of the web and what's happened, it works just as well for any online company. So you can take anything from as large as Shopify with all of their unique little places, and any national. Think, all right, you want to go crazy, guys? Ready? Think Verizon. Verizon says, wait a minute, I love this gig. You mean I'm going to be the only phone company in the entire country that's going to have people using my situation, and I'm giving to their causes? Wait a minute, of course I'll allocate 7%, use a number. 7%, 2.5% to the user, 2.5% to a cause, 2% for us on 1 million plus users. The average phone bill is $75. So it works local, it works national, and it works in the web.
How did you get those 38 businesses? Did you cold call them? Like, do you live, like, you're in Nevada, so how did you get those 38 businesses in California to get
so this is also very important what you're asking. So there's two functions that are happening simultaneously. That's why I said to you, the first thing, if we work together, if your company, if you as a group understand how to work with merchants, then we can work with you. If you don't, then no offense, I don't need the money and the team. We can always find that. We're looking more for that. So there are platforms already. There are at least two that we're tapping into. One has 4,500 merchants throughout the country. Another has 6,500 throughout the country. But we're working local, as you mentioned. And with the 30 merchants that we brought in is because, yes, we hired a representative to go and to canvass local merchants because, again, we're testing the program. I want you to think large now. We do this in our little place in Orange County. This becomes a franchisable process. Think soccer mom in any town or any city in the United States of America who loves her gig, wants to make more money, and wants to own a couple of zip codes. Everybody wins in this process because, again, frictionless. You go into.
So how would she win? How does she get compensated? What's your vision for compensate? So I love when business opportunity meets limitless scale tech. How does the soccer mom make money by owning 3 zip codes?
Okay, so she owns 3 zip codes. She now brings in causes, she brings in merchants, we show her how to do it, and she makes a portion of everything that happens. So you do pick a number, $200,000.
She gets paid from our 4%. She gets paid from our 4%.
Yeah, exactly. But I can tell you something. There's money. There is sufficient money in it because this touches. Think big numbers. Don't think.
So So now you're in your 3rd iteration. Who built it? Did you outsource development to a software development firm? Do you have an engineer you just hired full time? Who's the team?
Okay, so the team at the moment, there are 6 people in the team. The primary people are myself and my partner named Jerry Goldstein. Hello, nice Jewish guys. Jerry is well known in the tech world and what he does, and I'm well known in my business. And we have, so we've partnered with two other companies I'll tell you about. But remember, the driving force here is the vision. They said this is the third iteration. I started this approximately 5.5, 6 years ago, and I tested it in 2 cities, one in a suburb of an island. And the difficulty that we faced at that time was that this was so new that the cost of transacting business became too high. So you had to close it down, even though our numbers were good in terms of volume, in terms of merchants, in terms of users, but the cost of processing for us was too high. So went back to the drawing board, did one other iteration, and then we met a company. Jerry knows many people in the tech world. It's called MyGenie, MYGINI. They're actually headed by some people out of Turkey, but they work here in the United States. And they had called a Card Link platform. So if you're not familiar with Card Link, then it'll take me a bit of time to explain it. But suffice it to say, we, as It's Worthy, through MyGenie, had to apply to Visa and MasterCard to get their approval. That doesn't happen in a day, guys. That took months and months and back and forth with Visa and MasterCard just to get approval, because they want to make sure that this is not money laundering, this is not some bizarre thing. And when we showed them the philanthropic aspect of it, that's what really got Visa and MasterCard to become involved. So it's putting together all of these pieces, the CardLink technology, the approval of MasterCard and Visa, Jerry and I having the vision and knowing what we want to do. And as I said, nobody cares as much as I do. There are lots of companies out there that you can swipe your card and you make money. We know that. And there are companies that say, well, swipe your card and you can give back. Okay, but I'm not making anything. I like making money. I like giving money. You hear me? It touches two things in the human experience that are...
All right, let's see what our audience thinks. You obviously can sell this vision very well. So let's see what our audience thinks. What are your thoughts on It's Worthy? Is this a platform, as a small business owner, that you would integrate into your business because it creates this win-win-win outcome, and you would be okay giving up a portion of your margin because it's going to be a way to retain and gain new customers because you're attaching to causes? And if you are a consumer, would you see value in a platform like this? Please share in the comments below. So Sergey, what are your thoughts on the pitch? I know you hear a lot of pitches. Right? So what are your thoughts? Any feedback from Barry?
So I think pitch is great. You feel with passion, it's super important. I think what might be useful is to add some kind of visuals which would explain kind of the way everybody benefits, the money flow and things like that. That would make it a little bit easier to understand the whole schematics, because otherwise you kind of go through probably 3 or 4 slides before you kind of understand what's going on. But if you do with schematics, it will
that's a great
clean it up.
Cool.
But otherwise, I think it's a great pitch.
Yeah, awesome. So Barry, I want to invite you into due diligence. I'm very impressed with you. I think it's a great idea. We really love, one of the things that we stand for at Project 10K is when our organizations are able to find a force for good that is relevant to what they're doing in the world. Because people talk often about impact and evolved enterprises, and these are all things we stand for, but they often will just randomly pick a cause just to say that they picked a cause. And what I love about what you built here is that it's built into the fabric of the entire organization, is to do good and make money. So kudos to you for that. I'm a yes to go into due diligence. I love your energy as well. And what I'm most impressed of is your health. So keep that up, man. Go swim your 2 miles if you have not already done it. And excited to meet you more in due diligence. All right, after commercial break, we'll have another entrepreneur sharing what's on their napkin. All right, we'll see you soon.
What if there was a simple business toolkit that got you paid by your clients, customers, and patients? What if you can set up your account in seconds and begin benefiting from all of the features in minutes? What if this entire platform is free? Business Toolkit is revolutionizing the way small businesses and sole proprietors are running their businesses by enabling you to manage your sales process from one platform from start to finish. Imagine canceling your expensive scheduling software, or discontinuing your clunky invoicing software, or eliminating your pricey task management software and instead using one platform, your business toolkit, to drive your business forward. And don't forget, Business Toolkit is free. Sign up ASAP and begin saving money while you make way more money than ever before.
We are back from commercial break with another entrepreneur about to share their vision, their dream, and what's on their napkin. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Mike, and I'm calling from British Columbia, Canada.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for calling in. We're very excited to hear your big idea. So please take it away. You have 5 minutes. Share
Awesome.
With your
Well, while I am getting my slides set up, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Mike, and this is the poster boy of a napkin idea. And so I'm really excited to share this with you. So, and not to be confused, my name with Macarena, but it sounds like Mike Rena. Today I'm presenting Qualix, which is an idea validation and funding API. So here's our moonshot. It is to disrupt the startup ecosystem by accelerating product validation and funding for early startups. Specifically thinking about niche markets and apps that are built for niche markets. So while creating a community of loyal users who love your ideas so much that they're willing to fund them. So early stage startups with loyal customer base still struggle to scale due to lack of funding. And so that's where we're coming from that perspective. Many paying users are still willing to fund new app features even beyond the crowdsourcing phase. This is particularly true for, like I said, for niche markets. So why is this relevant? Because 29% of startups fail because of lack of funds. They run out of money. Also, many startups have a hard time attracting investors in those early stages. And they find it really awkward to ask funders, to ask payers, so their customers, for funding, even after the crowdsourcing phase. But they're okay with the software doing the asking for them in a passive way. So this is the demographic that we're targeting. So why now? Well, we have 10,000 tech startups that need to be funded in 10 years. Also, we have more than 5 million applications filed last year for new businesses in the U.S. alone. Many of them are tech startups. So that was a breaking record. Only a tiny percent of startups, 0.05%, secure venture capital investments, and so everything else, all the other ones, get left behind. So let's take a look at a case study. I'm the co-founder of Terabyte app. It's a modern EMR for rehab therapists. And one of our competitors, BravoWorks, closed their doors a few months ago. And so we ended up acquiring some of the customers. As we talked to them, we found out that Brava was asking them for them to pay for tweaks and improvements to their application. And we were shocked that they were very happy to pay for those on top of their monthly subscription. And so the common denominator was that they love the application, they love the features, but they wanted to improve them. And so we were looking for a way to automate this validation of new ideas and features and empower the users to accelerate the development. And so here we have Qualix, an API for tech startups aiming to validate and fund new ideas and features. By simply linking their app to our API, they can start automating the validation and funding process with the help of their own communities. So this is our long-term vision. Our phase one, which is this phase, will focus on these end users, funding their apps, the apps they love. We will offer a free tier and take 5% of every dollar raised. Phase two will be later on in later years. We'll focus on connecting startups with coaches and potential investors. And then phase 3 will be we decided it would be fun to showcase these successful startups and award them for their success. So let's talk about me. I have 10 years of experience in product design and development. I am the co-founder and VP of product of a thriving EMR startup, Terabyte. I am part of one of Canada's most thriving tech hub communities in the Okanagan Tech. I also have additional support. I recently, this, as I mentioned, this is such a napkin idea. It remained in a napkin for over a year. And I approached some friends and colleagues and managed to get the attention of a few of them. One in the banking industry, another one as an information systems expert, 2 VPs of engineering firms, and a crowdfunded artist. I also have the support of a senior programmer from Asia, and all these are willing to provide funds and sweat equity. Okay, so let's talk about Project 10K. Here's what we feel Project 10K needs us. So we will help fund 10,000 apps in 10 years. We're aligned to your mission. Also, founders will have first dibs on our tech and start automating their idea validation and funding. Project 10K will help disrupt the startup ecosystem by accelerating innovation. And this is why Project K is right for us. It will allow us to reach thousands of app innovators, help scale our team beyond the MVP phase, and put us on the map, helping us reach like-minded entrepreneurs and beyond. Business model will be, we feel that it is necessary to have a free tier, something along the lines of Charge B, where they have a certain threshold of free transactions, and then start charging that 5%. So this will help us accelerate growth. We also will offer free listings and access to our SDK, and then will be the 5% fee for every dollar. So similar to Kickstarter. Also with the potential for connecting customers with coaches and investors for a fee, and so that could be something that we look at as we gain traction. The go-to-market strategy, in terms of marketing, will be mostly word of mouth, tech publications, and influencers, some pay-per-click ads, revenue. During the beta phase, we'll focus on customer acquisition by providing that free tier, and then plus Stripe fees if we choose to go with Stripe. For growth, we believe that having that free tier will really drive customer acquisition and help with that reach. For partnerships, we believe that accelerators, incubators, startups, and business support centers are key to our success, and this is why we believe that Project 10K is such a good fit. Our customers will be primarily startups and potential investors and coaches being introduced into the ecosystem later on. We'll always, in terms of traction, we'll find ways to engage with investors and coaches and introduce gamification into the ecosystem to get people excited to invest. Something memorable about myself is I was born in Colombia. I learned English at age 16, and I'm living in British Columbia. I also created an iPad app in 3 days and launched it to the App Store, and so that was pretty cool.
Cool, awesome. It's really interesting. So I have you stop sharing your screen, and I believe you're introduced by Curtis, right? Who's one of our co-founders. Yeah,
that's right. We cool. have history together. We've worked on some projects together, and it's been very, very fun to work with him. And so I just had to pitch it to him, and he told me about Project 10K and said, you need to talk to these people. And so I'm here. That's why I'm here.
So it's interesting. So I have another SaaS company. That's how I figured all this out. So it's called Synduit. I don't know if you know this. And I'm a non-technical tech founder that did every single thing you could do wrong while building a SaaS platform, but made it. And we have over 40,000 paying users on that platform. And when I did it once, was when I realized if I could do anything once, I could do it 10,000 times. And that became our moonshot for Project 10K. And years ago, we actually like duct tape this together, where we had feedback from users on additional features and functionality, and like, let's see if we can get them to fund it. Like, we were a self-funded startup. I didn't want to necessarily allocate resources to some of these features, and I'm like, let's see if we can get our users to fund it, and they did. They like happily did. They were like very excited about it. We didn't have a platform to streamline it and organize it, and it was really messy, but it worked. Like, the thesis was true. So I have a question for you. With users beginning to like fund enhancements, is it equity crowdfunding, or is it more of like a GoFundMe model? Like, they just want to support the platform because they love the platform. Like, how do you see them? Is it just the emotional win? Like, yes, I'm part of it, or they're actually getting shares in the company, or both?
You know, yeah, we'll leave it up to the entrepreneur to decide how they want to incentivize their users. But you know, we feel that there's opportunity for donations, there's opportunity for equity, and for us to provide even services, legal services and such, to arrange those transactions. And also for perks within the application. And so that's one thing that we've done with our app. Some of the users that have funded some of our features, we just said, hey, we'll give you 50% for a year as a thanks for your innovation and support.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what would you think about this? Because Sergey's works as part of a pretty significant venture capital fund. So what would be your thoughts? If a company came to you and they actually were like scrappy and they use this platform and they were able to release, like, would you look at that highly? Like that's really innovative? Like, what are your thoughts?
I think it's perfectly fine. The question I would have, how is it different from like a bunch of different crowdfunding platforms you have now?
Yeah.
Because you already have tools to do it, and what's different here? You actually ask users to fund specific feature. You add this feature for me, and then I'll give you, I don't know, a couple $100. What's the difference between, like, if I have a company today, I can go to Kickstarter if it's some product, or I can go to GoFundMe and basically do all this stuff.
That's right. There's two primary differences. One is behavioral based, and the other one is it's accessibility. And so the behavioral part of this is the customer being willing to fund apps that they're already using. And so when you're looking into Kickstarter and Indiegogo, GoFundMe, you're looking at primarily MVPs getting started with an idea. And so people are very willing to do that. But once they are customers, and specifically paying customers, that tends to go down, and people it's rare for people to invest in something that they're already paying unless they're getting something specific. The accessibility part of it is because we're building this API, we're able to link our API to certain components of the application, similar to how Facebook does it with Facebook Pixel. Where as soon as you click a button, it triggers an action. And so we would map those buttons in the application to show a pop-up that shows what funding this particular feature has, and how close you are, how many people are voting for it. And so it incentivizes people to make that decision. And it's a very passive approach.
So do you see it not as a marketplace, but rather it's built into these apps? So it's not like, hey, go support me on Start Engine. Like,
that's right.
Raising $100,000, like, your support is going to allow us to do these 6 things. But it's actually part of the app. So it's like, hey, do you want that feature? Like, put $10 in right now, and we're going to send you a hat once we release the feature, or we're going to give you a share. Like, is like it really more native to the platform? Is that how you see it?
That's right. It's a very plug and play. It doesn't cost anything for the startup to implement it. Just mapping those buttons and then giving access to the API, but very simple. And it can be done on a per case basis, on a campaign basis, and turned off once they reach their limits.
it's kind of a good test, right? Like to do this even before anything. Like if we can get users to be willing to fund a feature, then they obviously care enough about that feature. And if we can't, maybe it doesn't even make sense to do that feature in certain ways. What else comes to mind?
But actually, that's more on the pitch kind of feedback. You need to explain way better what this API means, because when you went through a pitch, I was kind of wondering what it have to do with API and how it's implemented. And I would explain from the beginning, when you start talking about API, what basically it's not like user is going to some website and like in case of Kickstarter or other crowdfunding, it's actually inside the app. I'm using the app, and inside the app, I can click on a button, suggest some feature, put some money after kind of my upvote in some sense or whatever, and then it becomes a lot more clearly, because after the pitch I was still not kind of clear what the meaning of the whole API is. And
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's I think that's the important difference, which comes to another question, like competitive advantage. Basically, just after the pitch, you just don't realizing how different it is from any other crowdfunding.
Yeah, that's great feedback, because I was wondering too. I didn't know that, and but that's what I did. Like Synduit back in the day, like I kind of did this, like by duct taping it together. Like I was using Stripe. It was ridiculous how we pulled it off. But I want to say we probably raised about $50,000. It was revenue based, but to build a new feature, and it was we were surveying users, they were giving us this feedback, and I'm like, let's see if they'll just pay for it. Like because we had thousands and thousands of users at that time, like, well, if we get a small percentage to put $25 in, like, we'll be able to completely fund it, and we had 2,000 people do it, and then we got $50,000. So I'm like, and I could have just funded it through our revenue, but I'm like, that shows how much they care. Like they really want this. They're gonna have a sense of ownership around it. I think it's really interesting having it so natively integrated into the solution, so it doesn't feel like it's a fundraise. It's not like, hey, we're going to raise funds. It's, hey, you want that feature, we're going to be galvanizing energy from our users to support, and a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, I would position it as not a fundraising machine, but like upvoting machine. And basically, you allow people to upvote with their money, which kind of gives this upvote way more weight in some sense. And then it's also a different story, because for many companies, especially when they already further along, not at MVP style, they don't believe they can crowdfund a lot of money, and they're already at a stage where we need way more money. So the way it may look for the company, it's not the way to crowdfund. It's more way of figuring out what's the right feature to put in there.
Priorities, yeah.
So it's like some sense kind of A/B testing type of proposition. It allows them to do it much smarter.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was also thinking like maybe there could be tiers even, where like if people like really want a feature and they're willing to put $1,000 in, it could lead to some type of like group think where you do brainstorming sessions with those people that like really, and that would be immensely valuable.
Exactly.
Because you know that they're really serious with this. How do you roll it out? So like, because free is great because that removes that barrier to entry, and I like that we only win when you win model. So I think that's perfect. Like the 5% concept. How do you get traction? Like how do we go from we build it to 5,000 apps have now integrated this in? Like how do we get there? What's that model look like?
So leaving the 10K project aside, because I think that's a really good vehicle. We have worked with accelerators in this area, which is a very popular tech hub in Canada, and so we have a pretty good relationship with them. We would partner up with them as well to offer this, make that part of their venture acceleration program. So that they can help validate their ideas, because a lot of companies, including Terabyte, we have a definitive roadmap, but a lot of people come in and we're trying to earn their business, and they're saying, okay, can you implement this feature or this feature, and we have to say, well, sorry, this is out of our roadmap. But if we could have a way to capture that in a more passive way, so that other users that are already thinking about other features that will help do that more they'll determine the future of the application themselves. And so their voice will be louder than just voting in something like uservoice.com, for example, which would be another competitor of sorts in terms of the validation part. But yeah.
Cool. Let's see what everybody thinks of Mike's idea. So what are your thoughts? Should we move forward with due diligence? If you are a tech entrepreneur, and many tech entrepreneurs watch this show, would you integrate this? Is this going to be a way for you to help prioritize features and functionality, see which users really care about these enhancements, and to get some funding at the same time, so really creative funding? Would you use this platform? And as a consumer, as an end user of tech platforms, would you put $10, $25, $100, or $1,000 into your favorite apps to support and to help prioritize some of the next era of functionality? So besides for better explain the API, any other feedback from Mike on the pitch?
So maybe it's a little bit further down the road, but when you actually pitch to VCs, I wouldn't put as a main problem what startups fail because we run out of money, because in most of the cases the real reason for failing is the idea is not that good, the execution not that good. Most of the cases I don't believe money solves it. Money helps, money kind of working as a gas in the tank for the car, but car still have to be running.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't frame it, and actually I think if you frame it a little bit differently towards like we help companies to figure out where to take their product, I think it's much more interesting proposition for the company.
Yeah.
Because believing what you can raise a lot of money this way, it's a long kind of step. But getting the value out of the user's feedback, that's way more valuable for what.
Like I think like most companies fail because of product market misfit.
Yeah.
Like which in theory is money, because they ran out of money, but it's because they never got the right product off the ground. And any investor is going to want to say like, do you have product market fit, especially at the VC level, right? Because that's when they're going to get involved. And this really does support product market fit, because like those 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 beta users now voting with their dollars, saying like, hey, we really want to, as a village, like improve this platform. Like VCs are like, okay, that's product market fit, and then I actually think it gets them more money. I'm a yes for due diligence. I think it's a great idea. I see the vertical integration obviously with Project 10K, but it's even beyond just that. I see a true use for this, and I did this. Like I literally did this, but I duct taped it together, and there was no APIs, and it was a total mess. We got $50,000, and I was very proud of that. So I'm a yes. Great job with your presentation. Excited to go deeper with you, and congratulations for sharing.
Thank you. This is exciting.
Awesome, cool. So there you have it. You were 2 for 2, man. This is amazing. Sergey, you did it. We got to pound it out. So we never are 2 for 2, right? 2 for 2 on a show. Absolutely amazing. So let's go through these pictures quickly. So we had Barry come on here, and Barry shared It's Worthy, which is a real force for good. Both you and I think that the whole 10% concept probably doesn't play out in many scenarios, but there's really a nice feel attached to this platform. And I love the biz op. What are your thoughts on that? When you're talking about the soccer mom that decides to try to make a few bucks, like do you see that as a go-to-market play or distraction?
So what I thought is one of the kind of similar go-to-market is Groupon, basically, because it's like super local. You go after local businesses, convince them to give certain discounts, basically for getting customers. Here you add additional kick with certain charities, but it's still kind of same thing. I think it would be great if it works with just local moms, but you will probably have to have mix of kind of professional salespeople and kind of crowd helping it, because it just different businesses are different.
For sure.
Like real small mom and shop place, local mom can do it, but some more serious businesses.
Yeah.
And that's where probably you'll get a bigger cuts too. So to do it and to figure out what's the right percentage, it will probably have to be like very different percentages for different businesses. Yeah. So you'll need probably more.
So that's probably my biggest concern with it is like how to how to not have it be so variable.
Yeah.
So that now all of a sudden like local businesses are talking to each other and like, wait, you're paying It's Worthy 4%? Like I'm paying them 7%. Like, and then so it's almost like we can make some universal percentage. It just works, even though the bowling alley might say I'd pay more. But like, is it worth variably? I don't know. But these are the kind of things that I would think about in due diligence.
Yeah, but fixed percentage probably wouldn't work.
Probably wouldn't work either, yeah.
But what might be interesting also, you kind of differentiate not on percentages, but what charity you support.
Yeah.
So think about this way: if the ball alley is willing to give 15% because they have these good margins and they want to support certain charity, it's not going to be felt the way what it's the discount they give to the company. It's more like how much I'm willing to give to the charity. So it's a little bit different story.
Yeah, very interesting. And then we had Mike from Canada here, and I really love your feedback because he threw out the word API, right? And but didn't explain it.
Yeah.
And you're technical, so that caught your attention. You're like, wait, but what's the API? Because you could do this on Start Engine or GoFundMe or any of the other platforms. I love how you called it out because it gave him a chance to then actually explain potentially the most unique thing on the platform is that it's built natively. Speak into why that matters to you, the whole native aspect of that feature.
So that's the thing. Actually, through the pitch, I was kind of thinking, okay, what's in our crowdfunding platform, what's new, and kind of the whole story about like startups fail because we don't have enough money, kind of didn't click with me. So basically, through most of the pitch, I was still very kind of negative on pessimistic what it will work. But when I started to answer a question, I realized, wow, so it's not like it's website where people would go to fund project, but it's actually an API or SDK which you integrate in your app, and it allows people from the app to suggest things when that click. And actually, I think the biggest value for the company is not the money they're gonna get, because you're probably not gonna raise that much money by this way. Most of the people, they would suggest how much money you're actually willing to put for certain feature in the app. It's probably small money, but what is really valuable, much more valuable than money, is actually user feedback. 100%. So, and if people are willing to put money on this feedback, it's a valuable feedback. It means it really pains them, and they really want this feature. So I think there it will be way more valuable to the companies. It will be way easier to sell because you can do all kind of freemium models. You can take money from you can take percentages from money raised, but for company it's basically their value is not the money, their value actually in the feedback. So it can be actually win-win.
Yeah, I totally agree. So we had a great day, 2 for 2, and let me get to come back again because we like saying yes. And we also want to say yes to you. As you're watching the show, we don't want you just to be a spectator. We believe everybody has at least one, if not many, napkin ideas that most likely are going to go to the graveyard with them. But what if your idea was an idea that could just absolutely change the world? What if it could solve an inefficiency? What if it could change a country? But it's not going to do anything if it's just sitting on a napkin. So I invite you right now. Head over to pitch10k.com, pitch10k.com, and submit your idea. It's free application. Submit it. Our idea review committee will review it, and if we see potential, we're going to invite you on the show. So you can pitch just like Barry, and just like Mike, and potentially hear a yes. So with that, we appreciate you. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you for being here. Pitch10k.com, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Thank you.